Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome back to Art of Creation Homestead. My name is Jason. It is Sunday. We're going to talk about Jesus today. We do appreciate all you guys tuning in each week. That's something that's very important to us, is that we can continue to minister, that we can talk about growing food, cooking food, preserving food, raising chickens, whatever. We can do all that, but then on Sundays, I do want to give some time to talk about what's most important to us, and that's our faith, and minister to others, and fellow believers and non-believers alike. Doesn't matter. But we do appreciate all y'all for tuning in. For those of you who faithfully watch this, and if you're not a Christian, you're more than welcome to continue to listen. Don't run away. We love you even if you're not a Christian. Okay, it does not matter to us. We just love people, and we'll talk about Jesus and help and minister to others. With that being said, if you've been watching faithfully on these devotionals every week, then you know I'm going through the book of John. And in the book of John, we are in John chapter 6, which is an extraordinarily long chapter. I'm trying to break it down without taking too much time with it, but at the same time not skipping over anything. All right, so in John chapter 6, last week we talked about a little bit of an argument that has started between Jesus and the people that he fed the loaves and the fish to. He fed the 5,000 with some fish, and with a little bit of fish and a little bit of bread, right? So they kind of followed Jesus, and they've kind of argued with him a little bit, because he said, hey, you don't need to be following me for a free meal. You need to be following me because I can save your life. And they're like, hey, but our forefathers in the desert, talking about the Exodus, when the Israelites were exiled from their homeland, but so our forefathers ate manna in the desert. God provided them manna, bread from heaven. So now here we go. Jesus says in verse 30, we'll go back to 32, John 6:32. Jesus said to them, I tell you the truth, it is not Moses who has given you the bread from heaven, but it is my Father who gives you the true bread from heaven. For the bread of God is he who comes down from heaven and gives life to the world. And 34, Sir, they said, from now on give us this bread. Then Jesus declared, I am the bread of life. He who comes to me will never go hungry, and he who believes in me will never be thirsty. Probably stop there. So there we're talking about, there's a little bit of rebuttal, back and forth, right? A little bit of conversation, a little bit of a disagreement. Some will have an argument between these people and Jesus, and they're saying, look, they're begging for some sustenance. They're begging for some sustenance, and they're like, well, God, or like we ate this manna. Our forefathers ate this manna every day, and it was called bread from heaven. Jesus said, but God, my Father, gives you the true bread from heaven. And he says, because he says the true bread for the bread of God. So the bread of God. He was basically signifying and kind of separating the bread they're talking about, the manna, from the bread that he's talking about, which is himself, right? So he said, for the bread of God is he who comes down from heaven and gives life to the world. So the bread of God gives life, is life-giving. It's the bread on this earth will sustain you daily, but you got to keep coming back to that. You got to keep coming back for that meal. You got to keep coming back, eating again, right? 3 meals a day. Some people less, some people more, but you got to keep eating meals over and over and over again for daily sustenance. What Jesus is saying here, but the bread from God, the bread of life, is a eternal sustenance. And that's what I want to talk about today, is partaking in that eternal sustenance. Like he said, you'll never be hungry, never be thirsty again. That's not physical. I mean, our bodies are designed to physically have to partake of food and drink, right? What Jesus is talking about here is people who feel drained, people who feel weak and tired, and people who feel hopeless in life, in situations. And I spoke with someone earlier this week who talked about not being satisfied with where they are at in life, looking to make changes, looking to do things. And this individual said, hey, whatever, basically anything, any possibility, I'm leaving out there. I'm gonna leave everything on the table, no matter what. If I don't get stung by a hornet, then hey. But I said I'm gonna leave everything out there. There's no option that I'm gonna just shut down. And because he's looking to make a change, he's not happy, he's not satisfied. But I would tend to, if I was able to have a longer conversation with that person, I would tend to say you're probably never gonna be satisfied until you make a change in your heart. Because that person, I would not consider to be a Christian. That's my judgment. That's not God's judgment. So my judgment may not be right, but that's just my opinion. And while that person may be a believer, a mental believer in God, I don't believe he's ever given his life to Jesus. Now that's just my opinion. I may be completely wrong. Luckily, my judgment is not the end all be all for that individual. But anyways. But that person is just a good example for what I'm talking about, because that person's not satisfied, and there's a lot of people in life that are not satisfied. They're not happy with how things are turning out. They feel like they need more, they deserve more, and things like that. But they're not being sustained every day by the Spirit of God, by a relationship with Jesus. And even Christians who have been Christians for a long time can go through times where they just don't feel satisfied. They feel hopeless. Sometimes you can feel hopeless. You can feel these ways, but Jesus is saying here that I'm the bread of life. Partake in me. Whoever trusts in me will be sustained for eternity. There's this connection between your soul and your heart. When there's this connection between the soul and your heart with Jesus, that there's a satisfaction that occurs. And then the satisfaction, things can go wrong here and on this earth, they can go wrong, but that you'll know that it's going to be okay, that you have peace, understanding that this is all temporary anyways. Everything you see around you is temporary. My whole backyard here, while we filled it full of life and plants that are growing and chickens that are laying eggs and things that we take joy in, things we take pride in, things that will give us sustenance every day, day in, day out. And there's a satisfaction that occurs physically from the food and just emotionally from growing stuff that we eat. It is all temporary. These things are temporary, but a relationship with Jesus Christ and a trusting in Jesus Christ, this connection from your heart and your soul to the Son of God, is an eternal sustenance that satisfies the driest of souls, satisfies to the deepest of your heart. And that's the point that Jesus is trying to get across to these people here, is that yes, you had bread, I gave you some fish and some bread, and your stomach was satisfied, but your soul is still yearning for more. Let me be more. I'm the bread of life, he said. Not me, not me, him, Jesus. Jesus is the bread of life. He wants to satisfy you to the uttermost, to the deepest parts of your soul, so that when things go wrong, you still have peace. So when things go wrong, you still have strength. You have strength that people don't understand, that people can't comprehend where it comes from. Hey, this is going wrong in your life. How are you still happy? How can you still move forward? Why are you not curled up in the fetal position, crying your eyes out, sucking on your thumb? It's because you have Jesus. And the bread of life is much more filling, much more sustaining than anything on this earth. So take that with you this week. Be sustained, partake in the bread of life every day, and allow the Spirit of God in relationship with Jesus to sustain you through your hardest of times. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any praise reports or prayer requests, please leave them in the comments below. Anything you want to say, hey, let's hear it. Just don't be a negative Nancy on me. No, it's okay. We love to hear from y'all. We love to pray for y'all. We do love you so much. Thank you guys for watching. My name is Jason. This is Art of Creation Homestead. We love y'all. God bless you and goodbye.